Welcome to the Put on Waivers Media Group, home of the Put on Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
Let's go over to the Chiefs.
Can I add one other thing real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
On Patrick Graham. It would be the most Raiders thing ever if they go in another direction and they don't retain Pierce and Graham, and then Graham gets a job somewhere else and the Raiders not get that compensatory third-round pick for a minority hire. Like, they finally have a guy. By league rules, I'm pretty sure the league rules state you have to have him for 2 years. So you can't hire a guy for 1 year. Like, if Steve Wilkes gets hired away from the 49ers, they don't get a pick. So, the Raiders are in a position now to get a pick for Patrick Graham if another team wants to come get him, but you can't fire him first. It's in the Raiders' best interest to try to keep Patrick Graham for that, but also because he's showing that he can be a good defensive coordinator in this league. And he's made a number of adjustments this year to play to the strengths of the players he's putting out. He's putting out a ton of different combinations. It's not like the Raiders are running out the same three cornerbacks. Like, they're running out different combinations throughout the whole game. They may run 4 or 5 different combos out there. And he's doing this. They're running nickel. Like, I think I saw it's like the third or fourth most in the league. It's like almost 80% of their snaps are out of the nickel. So hats off to Patrick Graham this year. I know we were kind of killing him a little bit last year because last year they were awful. But he's made the required adjustments to show that he can be a good defensive coordinator.
And who knows? Maybe he's being left alone to do his job. Maybe. just maybe. Chiefs, Raiders. It's always a game that we get everybody's attention in Raider Nation. The Chiefs. I believe Josh DeBoe put out a tweet that this is. I mean, every time the Raiders have beaten Andy Reid, it's been the Chiefs off of a bye week. I mean, off of a short week. In the whole Andy Reid era. So I mean, we'll see how that goes. I think the biggest. It's weird because I feel like Andy Reid's fighting himself because he has Tooney, Humphreys, and Trey Smith who can just move people. And if he wants to line up the football and just give it to Pacheco, he could. He really could, but he wants to. But we all know he loves to pass the ball a lot, and I think that's the matchup that I think is going to be the biggest one that I'm worried about is the Raiders' defensive tackles against those two guards and the center in the middle.
Well, let's hope he doesn't want to run the ball this week because that's kind of what the Raiders' weakness is.
Yeah.
I'm looking outside. I want to see if the NFL is actually going to call Jawan Taylor for lining up in the backfield this week, and if they're going to call him for legal procedure trying to go against Max Crosby. I don't think Andy Reid's the type that's going to send, a running back and a tight end and multiple blockers of Max Crosby. No. He wants to get those guys out in the passing game. So Max Crosby's going to have one-on-one a lot this week, and I want to see if the NFL is going to make Jawan Taylor actually line up and play right tackle and not play 4 yards off the line of scrimmage.
I don't know how. To me, I mean, it drives me crazy when I see it. I think early in the game they had Hassan Reddick he did it so blatantly, and it should have been a false start, and he still lost, and Hassan Reddick ended up getting a really nice QB hit on Patrick Mahomes. But this is, I mean, they are 11th in scoring. They do struggle watching them on film. Like, they do struggle to get separation. I think it's pretty clear when certain people come into the game that they're going to take a shot down the field. I'm always fearful of them because of the fact that they have Patrick Mahomes and they have Travis Kelce, but he's not as. Before I say like they're not daunting, they'll probably win the game by 30 points. But I don't think anybody in the league really is. They know the Chiefs are good, but I don't think the terror. They're not the terror of this team isn't there anymore as far as when you play them on Sundays.
Yeah, I don't think teams are scared of them anymore because they don't have the weapons outside of Kelce on offense to really put a fear in a team that they may drop 40, 45 points. They haven't really done that this year. So obviously teams are still scared of Mahomes. He's still the best quarterback in the league. Kelce's still the best tight end in the league. But if teams can find a way to slow down Kelsey, they have an opportunity to stay in these games. The Kansas City point, the Chiefs, don't score points at the rate everyone thinks they do. Um, they're only averaging 19 points a game on the road. Like, this team's not going on the road and putting up 30 points a week. They're not doing that. And I'll give you a little stat. I had to double, triple, and quadruple check this stat. The Las Vegas Raiders at home have the third best scoring defense in the league. They're giving up 14.2 points a game at home. Now, granted, they played the Packers and the Steelers, the Patriots, the Jets, and the Giants. They haven't played a good quarterback in that stretch. Patrick Mahomes is a totally different animal. But if this Raiders defense can keep this game close, I think they're going to have a chance to win this at the end. The only concern is you have a rookie quarterback in O'Connell, again, going up against a very good defense. The Chiefs have a top 3 scoring defense in the league, and they still have to figure out how are they going to block number 95. They have to slow down Chris Jones.
They do, and I think the thing that worries me about the game is that when you get behind the sticks against them on second down and on third down, Spagnuolo loves to create these chaos and havoc plays with blitzes, and I don't know how well they're going to be able to stop or be able to block those blitzes, and that's what makes me worried. If they had a veteran quarterback, it's hard to do it with a veteran quarterback, but they know where, when you have a quarterback like him, like Aiden O'Connell, they know where he's going to be at all times. He's not ever going to be a threat to run the football, and it's going to be an issue for the whole team this year. I mean, this whole game. I mean, I just that's what I worry about, and it's the reason why I probably won't get the prediction section. I probably go with the Chiefs because for obvious reasons. But the Raiders being better at home is a factor. The Chiefs being worse on the road. I believe this is the first this year they finally lost their road AFC game, AFC West game to the Broncos. But I'm really worried about the offense being able to move the football this week. I really do. I just don't love the matchup here.
Yeah, I fully anticipate Spagnuolo is going to bring the house early and often. They're going to stack the line of scrimmage. They're going to put 5, 6, 7 guys up on the line, try to confuse O'Connell, not give him a clear picture of what the coverages are going to be. They're going to get physical on the outside. My biggest concern with this, and it's as a Raiders fan, it hurts to say this, but I think the officials on the outside have to call this game clean because the DBs of the Chiefs grab and hold more than any DB set in the league. It's like watching the Patriots from the mid-2000s against the Colts where they're just mugging guys 20 yards down the field. If they let the Chiefs DBs get their hands all over the receivers, it's going to be a long day for Aiden O'Connell because they're going to have to keep Jacobson to help with these blitz packages that are coming. And if they don't win outside, what's he going to do with the football? And then, they still have number 95. And don't forget, Karlaftis has had a pretty good year rushing off the edge over there as well.
Yeah.
They're going to have to run the football. They're going to have to get in third and manageable. They're going to have to not get penalties. They can't be 2nd and 20, 1st and 20, 2nd and 15 because they're not going to get explosive plays against this defense. They're going to have to get turnovers. They're going to have to make a long field goal. They're going to have to win in the special teams with the punter. And the defense is going to have to hold the Chiefs. Theoretically, in all honesty, they're going to have to keep the Chiefs in the high teens, low 20s. If the Chiefs can get up 27, 30 points, the Raiders won't be able to keep up with them.
They need once in a while you call it a gimme touchdown, but they kind of need a turnover in their own to turn the Chiefs over in their own end. They need a pick six, a scoop and score. They need a big punt return. They need something where they don't have to go the length of the field for points. I mean, that's the biggest thing in that game for me as far as that goes, because then that the Raiders are probably geared up to score 14 points, maybe 17. But like you need a little bit of a boost from the defense or special teams to get them to get 24 points to really be in the game with the Chiefs, because I would think the Chiefs are going to score at least 20 to 24 points in this ball game.
It's going to come down to red zone defense. They're going to have to do what they did the last couple of weeks, is hold teams to field goals. The Chiefs are going to move the ball. They're not going to go 3 and out. They're not going to punt the ball, 7-8 times in this game. The thing in the Raiders' favor is the Chiefs haven't scored a point in the second half in 3 straight weeks. I don't know how that's even possible. Like, they haven't even kicked a field goal. Like they haven't scored a single point. So teams are making adjustments to whatever Andy Reid's throwing at them. But they have to figure out the Travis Kelce situation. Like he's burned them for years. If they're going to play a ton of zone, which they're going to have to, again, because they don't have the speed on the outside, it's almost like you're going to have to ask the linebackers to like not do a zone drop and like get your eyes on Kelce and just kind of man him up in the middle of the field. The Raiders have this year. I don't even know what kind of defense it is, but they've basically been running. It's almost like a cover three, so it's three deep with three under, and the slot guy plays man. So you've seen there's plays where Hobbs is playing man no matter what, and then you basically have the three underneath defenders and three guys behind them. But they almost have to do that and man up Kelce and just say, okay, you're guarding Kelce man to man no matter what. We're going to have other defenders in the area playing zone, eyes on him. But they can't just let Travis Kelce run 10, 12 yards, turn around, catch the ball. They can't leave him one-on-one against Diablo. They can't leave him one-on-one with a safety. So they're going to have to figure out ways to bracket him, double team him on third downs. But the issue you're going to have there is you're basically going to play man, and then you have to keep Patrick Mahomes in the pocket. And then you have to get him on the ground when you get around him. He can't run around and do all these circus plays. But it's going to be interesting because this Chiefs team is probably about as vulnerable as they've been in the Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid era. This game is ripe for the taking, but it's asking a lot of this Raiders team with the way the offense is playing right now.
Yep.
In this kind of environment, the Chiefs need this game. The Raiders need this game too, but the Chiefs really need this game if they have envisions of home field advantage going through Arrowhead come playoff time.
Hey, just get a mid defense, and when the Raiders do, guess what happens? They can't score. They can't score to save their life. Any news on who's on the officials who are doing the game? Because that's going to be a huge part of it. I'll let you look that up real quick. And as I talk about Kelce, I think Kelce is a guy who is, the free releases can't happen. You got to have somebody over the top. You got to have somebody hitting them. They actually have physical, athletic guys like Powwow, and then you have Moreg as well, who have done decent jobs against him in the past, but then all of a sudden we just forget where he is, and when they get to the red zone, that was the game last year in Kansas City where we had three touchdowns in that ball game for like 10 yards. So they really have to just continue to do what they have to do as far as making it very difficult for him and forcing somebody else to win. Like if somebody else wins and beats the Raiders, you can live with it, but it just can't be 87. I just don't even understand how you drop back in a zone defense, 12 yards on 3rd and 10, and then Kelce's, of course, is wide open.
So Land Clark is doing the game.
Reputation in there.
I'm looking at he's a pretty fair ref. I don't think he throws an overabundance amount of penalties. I'm looking at it. His crew by far calls the most offensive holdings. They've called 31 this year. Yeah. 2/3 of those have been on the home team. So they seem to call a lot of offensive holdings on the home team. There's quite a bit of false starts. They've actually called, if you look at the penalties by the number they've called, it's offensive holding, false start, unnecessary roughness. They like to throw the flags on some late stuff, and then defensive pass interference and defensive holding. So they seem to call a lot on the DBs, and they like to flag the offensive lineman for holding. Those are both not good things for the Raiders as far as if they get behind the sticks. And then if there's any contact down the field, hopefully they call the penalties on the DBs for the Chiefs, who like to hold and grab. L'Jarius Sneed, as good as he is, thinks he's still in college and tries to grab guys 20 yards down the field, and he gets away with it a lot, but we'll see. They don't really call a lot of other things. That's basically what they call those four things. There's a couple of legal contacts in here, not a huge number, but offensive holding, unnecessary roughness, defensive PI, defensive holding is what they like to call this group.
All right, so we'll check that out on Sunday when the Raiders face the Chiefs. Anything else on this game, or did you want to do prediction time?
I've gone back and forth. I know last week I said, I think the Raiders are better right now matchup with the Chiefs. I still believe that than they are with the Dolphins, regardless of how well they played last week. In my head, I'm going back and forth. I think that the Raiders actually have a better chance to win this game than they have to beat the Chiefs in the last couple of years since the Ruggs incident. But it's hard for me because I still say, okay, the Chiefs have the best quarterback, they have the best coach, they have the best defense, they have a better offensive line.
Yeah.
The Raiders can win this game, but they need about 10 things to go their way. the Chiefs can just go out there and play a normal Chiefs game, don't turn the ball over 3 times, they can probably win this game. So there's gonna be a lot of pressure on Bo Hardegree to figure out how is he going to attack this Chiefs defense? How are they going to get ready for these fronts and blitz packages that they're going to show? There's going to be times where they're going to show pressure. Aiden O'Connell is going to switch the play. He's going to try to get the ball out hot, and they're going to fall out and play zone or underneath it, and they're not going to blitz. So it's going to be a cat and mouse game. Does Aiden O'Connell have a full grasp of what the Chiefs are showing him pre-snap?
Uh-huh.
I think the picture is going to be very muddy for him, and it's going to be really hard for him to make consistently down in and down out, get to the right play, get to the right read, understand the protections, who's coming, who's dropping. And short of Josh Jacobs going for 102 or Devontae Adams going for 150 like those guys have to ball out this week. That's the only way I think the Raiders can win this game. Or the defense is just going to have to go crazy, 5 or 6 sacks, 2 or 3 turnovers, and a defensive touchdown.
Yeah.
I think it's close. Just like last week, I thought the Dolphins-Raiders game would be a touchdown game. It was. This is going to be a close game. I think at the end, I think the Chiefs just make one more play. I think the Raiders are in this game from start to finish. I think Antonio Pierce is going to get that locker room ready. The importance of the Raider way and this rivalry, the Chiefs-Raiders rivalry, I think that's going through the locker room. Obviously, Max Crosby is going to be fired up. I think the Chiefs win it on a last-second field goal. The Chiefs 24, the Raiders 21. Or 20, I'll give them 23, 24-23.
I hate this game because I'm so sick of losing to the Chiefs. I am so sick of losing to the Chiefs. I wish the Raiders had a more competent offense. I'm gonna go the Chiefs 30 and the Raiders 17 because I don't feel like Aiden O'Connell can get through this game without turning the ball over a couple of times. I just don't know. I don't see how he can get through this game without turning. I think there'll be some plays where he makes maybe a big play to Tucker, maybe makes a big play to Devontae. Obviously, hopefully if Jacobs gets it going, they continue to make sure they give Jacobs the football. But I just don't see how we can get through the game without turning the ball over a couple of times. I mean, I've seen this team turn the ball over, turn teams over with good quarterbacks. I just don't know how they're going to handle that pressure. And Hardegree against, I don't know how he can, what he's going to do against Spagnuolo. I think it's a bounce back game. They gotta show that they can stop Kelsey. They've never done that in their history. So even the game they actually did do a good job of it. They gave 3 touchdowns. So I'm just going by history. I'm going by what I see last 2 weeks. I'm just worried about the young quarterback against this defense.
Yeah, I think Pierce is going to have these guys ready to go. The Raiders are 4-1 at home. They've played well at home. The crowd, I think, is still going to be pro Chiefs because I think a lot of Raiders fans dumped their tickets weeks ago before the coaching change was made. So you're going to see a good number of Chiefs fans. It's not going to be like it was against the Jets or Giants where it was primarily Raiders fans. Mm-hmm. But I think Pierce is going to have these guys with that underdog mentality. That's the top of the hill. That's who we're chasing. And I think the Raiders come out hot. I think that they jump out pretty quickly, 10-0 in the first quarter. I think they get a turnover or a big special teams play. I think they punch the ball in the end zone. And then it's the Chiefs trying to catch up. And can the Raiders do enough offensively to sustain drives? Can they run the ball enough to keep the ball away from Patrick Mahomes? And I just think at the end, there's a turnover by O'Connell or Patrick Mahomes makes Patrick Mahomes plays and the Chiefs win it at the wire. But the Raiders are going to fight this team. It's going to be a good game.
And I think that even with my score prediction, I do feel like they are going to do those things. I just don't know if the quarterback is. I think the team is ready for that challenge. I don't know if the quarterback is as well. And I'm very interested to see what Bo has for the first 15 against the Chiefs. I mean, it'll be really interesting to see what he has going on for that because I want to see if they can maybe stick in the end zone on that first drive. And it'd be also interesting to see if they get in that same situation where they have an opportunity to in the middle 8 to maybe attack the end zone instead of using Carlson for the guaranteed 3. Do they do that in the game as well with the young quarterback? So I don't know. We'll see, Raider Nation. We'll see, Raider Nation. We'll see. Tired of losing to the Chiefs, man. Tired of losing to the Chiefs. Tired of losing.
If they're going to beat the Chiefs, it's going to be this week. That I don't think they go on the road to Arrowhead and have a puncher's chance in that game.
No. A little coldy, as the kids say. Anything else for the Raiders Chiefs?
Yeah, I just think this is it's a good opportunity. Hopefully, it's a close game to see again. What does Antonio Pierce bring as a potential head coach to hold on to this job?
Yeah.
Are they going to get routed 48-10, or are they going to make a fight of this game? And I think even if they lose games like the Dolphins and lose this game, they don't have as much talent as some of these other teams they're playing. But can he get these guys ready to go? Can he get them motivated? Can he keep the game close? And then can he make the right decisions as far as when to use timeouts, clock management, when to go for it on fourth down? And I think he's empowering his coordinators a lot. You can definitely see that Patrick Graham is calling the game a little bit differently under Pierce than he did under McDaniels. But at some point, I'd like to see him go find Bo Hardegre on 3rd and 1 and say, run the damn football. And let's not get cute. Like, you have to maintain possession with this rookie quarterback, especially when you start facing these high-powered offenses. It can't be 3-and-out punt, 3-and-out punt, 3-and-out punt. It worked last week. The Raiders defense did great. But if you go into week after week after week and you can't put together drives, the defense is going to wear out and teams are going to put up points on you.
Cool. All right, Raider Nation. I got one last thing that's been trending on Twitter like crazy. I'm not sure why it is, but this idea that Gruden is that there's this I look at Mark, his face is already swelling up.
No.
This whole thing with Gruden, what are people thinking? Like, they really think that this team would hire him again, like, or that he's gonna get another job in the NFL? Like, I don't know what we're like. Why is he trending on Twitter all this time? I got this guy, like, I know his name is Mark Rojas, I guess, whatever. Just keep putting out this pro Gruden stuff all the time, left and right. I mean, do people really think that this is gonna happen? Why are we even talking about John Gruden as far as a potential head coach or hot name for the Raiders?
I see it more as offensive coordinator. Like, why would John Gruden take an offensive coordinator position? He's got more money than he ever needs. Like, he's not going to come back unless he's a head coach. And then if you're Antonio Pierce, why would you want that around if he holds on to this job? Like, go find someone else to be your offensive coordinator.
Yeah, the first time you screw up,
because he won't get any credit. If that did happen, if Pierce stays and John Gruden comes in and the offense starts scoring, everyone's going to be like, because of John Gruden. Antonio Pierce would get no credit in that scenario. Not that he would need it if they were winning, but I just don't think that he would go that route. I could see him hiring a veteran offense coordinator with prior head coaching experience. But again, why would John Gruden want to do that if you've got 50, 60, $70 million in the bank?
No, those checks from Mark don't bounce. You ask John Gruden, you can ask Josh McDaniels. So I would say,
and Dave Ziegler.
And Dave Ziegler, yeah. Ziegler's probably in Tahiti right now. All right, Raider Nation. Take care. Have a good Thanksgiving. Be safe, and then we'll catch you next time.
Take care.
Peace.